Ready to go. How you doing, Simon?
Ready, Freddy? I'm good.
Excellent. Yeah, so am I. It's not too bad. Not bad for a Tuesday. Yeah,
It's good for a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I almost wish we'd have had the cameras rolling so that everybody could see the frantic activity that goes on before we hit record in terms of setting up, getting IT.
Yes. That's the problem, is getting these mics to record and then so we can hear ourselves inside the headsets. So I pretty much start off every podcast with like this knot in my stomach because I'm like 20 minutes of how do I make this work with lots of swears. And
then when it works, it's kind of like,
sorry.
Okay, let's go. Hence the reason why everybody sees us both take a big inhalation and exhalation of air.
Center ourselves again.
Before we go. Right, centered.
Right, centered. Fantastic. Well, hey, welcome to episode 4. I was going to say 3, but that was the other one. That one dropped yesterday. Dropped yesterday. And
is trending and tracking quicker than any episode that we've released so far.
Yeah. I hate to brag, but we're a thing. We're not a thing. You know what I mean. Don't get any funny ideas.
We're a thing. I'm like, wow, I don't think I got that email.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You got to give me a heads up on that stuff, man. You can't just throw it at me.
Yeah, right? We're a thing now. All right.
We're a thing. Okay.
Here we go. Fantastic. Yeah. So.
Well, Joe, I've got something to tell you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Are you telling me you're married? Anyway. Wonderful. Oh, so, this is episode 4. I had a great time with this episode 3. I thought it flowed well. I felt much better. And I'm continuing the trend. The first episode I wore a toque. Second one I didn't. Third I did. Fourth I didn't. So.
And yes, and I'm demonstrating vulnerability because this feels, the way that I'm dressed, the way that I'm looking feels not me.
Yeah.
Well, it's weekend Simon.
Weekend Simon, right?
Right.
Yeah. So fair enough. Yeah.
So like as we mentioned in episode 3, my 2 tattoos, one tattoo, 2 tattoos.
That's right. Yeah. I'm trying to catch up to you.
And that's it.
I only have that. So.
You got plenty of space there.
Right. Oh my goodness! Right. It's like a blank canvas.
There's lots of completely.
There's a lot of white paper here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Right.
But yeah, and I kind of thought to myself, I'll do. So there's a series that I watched every episode to, which was called Billions.
Okay.
And it's just finished after 8 years, I think. But one of the lead characters, Bobby Axelrod, was, again, it's all venture capitalism and all that kind of stuff on, Wall Street, New York, and all this kind of thing. And his wardrobe was always like a T-shirt and a track top, I guess, or a cardigan or something like those lines, and jeans and sneakers and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, let's rock a bit of good old Bobby Axelrod style today.
Excellent.
Well done. See how we go.
Well, it's totally working for you. And I'm jealous. I don't have a Metallica shirt.
Whoa, yeah.
I just have a Tower of London shirt.
You got Tower of London. You've got a Doctor Who scarf on.
I do, yeah. Or Harry Potter scarf, depending on. We'll take it.
We'll go
Okay, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. I mean, Tower of London. It's not very metal, but it's kind of metal. You know.
Hey, if you went to the Tower of London and you managed to get out of the Tower of London, then you were doing.
Yeah.
Someone was on your side,
very much so,
not everybody that went in came out.
That's right. This was bought at the gift shop in the Tower of London. That's good. I'm going on far too much about this shirt.
I haven't been to the Tower of London in a long time.
Oh, so much fun. I love it.
In fact, the last time I was in London was actually near to the Tower of London was when David Blaine was doing his Perspex box thing, living in a box for 40 days.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was the period of time when I was working in London.
Oh, okay.
And I can just remember we went down there one evening to see him, and he was in his box suspended up there. And
on Tower Bridge, was it? Or
yes, down from Tower Bridge, and then there was a guy there with a box of golf balls. just literally laying shot up after shot. So it was like ka-chink, boomf, ka-chink, boomf.
That is awesome.
Until he got a reaction out of David Blaine, right? To like pick his head up off the whatever he was doing. Yes.
That's what I'd hope for.
Or the security came along with, excuse me, you can't do that. Right. It's like, okay.
Right.
Well, I'll just move away then, and I'll just start throwing.
Yeah.
I'll just start throwing the golf ball instead of using a golf.
Fantastic. I love it. Oh, man. Too much fun to be had in London. So,
Very fun.
yes. So, everyone, welcome to episode 4. Without getting any further into it, let's thank our sponsors. Our usual. So first off to Tenacra, who helped us with a lot of this gear here. So Tenacra is a Calgary headquartered tech company specialized in custom software development and 365 solutions, as well as Bellcat. Bellcat is a strategy-driven marketing agency marrying traditional marketing channels with technology. So thank you, Tenacra. Thank you, Bellcat.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to both.
Yes.
And then taking over, thank you to Pink Weasel, obviously, for our caffeine intake.
Mm-hmm.
Spandex Panda for our dress code.
Thank you, Spandex.
More coming on that
Panda.
because I had a meeting with both of those companies over the weekend.
Fantastic.
TEEMA Solutions, thank you very much, keeping contractors, consultants, and clients alike on task, delivering solutions, IT solutions on a daily basis, weekly basis, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And basically empowering me to be creative where we need to be creative in terms of a service offering.
Fantastic.
So,
excellent.
Awesome there.
Thank you, TEEMA.
Thank you to TEEMA, and all put together here at Platform Calgary.
Platform Calgary. That's right.
So just actually, I'll say that because people ask me this a lot. But so TEEMA is a pillar platform member.
Okay.
So that is, are we part of platform? Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
We help with HR strategy, hiring strategies, all of that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
To all of the over 1,500 new startup companies that are within Platform Calgary. As we've said before, and last week was Innovation Week, which was just...
That's
quite honestly, I don't know how myself and my 2 colleagues that you see, I don't know how we got through that week. It was an amazing week.
That was fantastic, and I saw that one. And we might drop a clip in as well.
Just an amazing week, which coincided with me not being very well for the whole entire week, which was...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were all masked up and everything. It was fun.
It was fun, but it also
Typhoid Simon.
Yes,
that was good. So we'll just drop a clip in right here.
To my hiring managers, where I just said to them, "There's not a job description for that. Like what you've just asked me for, there isn't a job description for it. So let me go back to my network and the people that I know, and we will do this." I think I used the phrase napkin math. Like, let's do it that way. We'll connect the right personalities together and they've got the skill sets because of the variance of experience that they have, not something that they can list out. And you can just have a conversation, we'll put it together.
Okay, there you go. There was the clip. Wasn't that engaging? No, it's really good. I mean, sorry, I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
A lot of great thinking.
A lot of takeaways from there, which kind of goes into the which will come later. I'll put this later. I'll put that on the shelf. But things I've learned, and one of the things I learned was from that. So
yes.
So that's fantastic.
We need to remind our listeners of where they can listen to us.
That's right. Exactly. You can listen to us on YouTube. That's probably where you might be watching us now on YouTube. And there's also some buttons down there for you to like, subscribe, bell notification icon so you get notified when new episodes drop. And please leave your comments below.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. You'll also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. That's how you can hear us.
I still love iHeartRadio.
Yeah, right? It just sounds so cool.
It just, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like we're in the big leagues. Yeah.
I'm just like, whoa.
Go ahead. Ask me how we got in iHeartRadio. I don't know.
How did you...
I haven't a clue. I clicked a button somewhere. And now it just updates all the time. So
Wicked.
Yeah.
Just
What a big deal.
I just think it's just cool. It's just cool.
I agree. So one thing I'd like to say with the sponsor side of things is the last video we did, I tried to render it in 4K, but these videos are getting a little bit more complex when I do it, and my machine, although quite powerful, the machines I have at my disposal are quite powerful, but wasn't enough to do 4K. 3 times it actually shut down the computer when I was trying to do 4K. So the last video is only in 1080 when I put it onto YouTube, unfortunately. So this is Jason plugging for a new sponsor that might be able to help us out.
With a recording machine.
That's right. Hi there. If you'd like to be a sponsor for Chat with the Yes Men for a negotiable amount of money, you could help us get a better machine that's studio quality that can rip these things in 4K video. It'll be great. And what do you get out of it? You get to have your name down there in the little banner where we have all the little sponsors. I will shout you out multiple times per episode. I might even do a 30-second commercial for you, and it will be on every podcast for the calendar year of 2024.
And once it's live and it's out there it's not coming.
Exactly.
It's not coming down again.
So if you'd like to be a sponsor and help us pay for 4K, we'll constantly throw out your name as well as all the other goodies I just mentioned here and say 4K video is brought to you by insert your company name here. So if you'd like to help us out, contact Simon or myself. I'm sure there's email addresses somewhere in all this stuff. Or just leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. We could do the LinkedIn, email, telephone numbers, whatever.
Yes. Was that too shameless of an ask? Does it feel like I'm begging? I don't want to feel like I'm begging. I'm just asking nicely. Yeah.
There doesn't.
Never heard.
A collaboration doesn't need to mean that.
No, exactly.
Doesn't need to mean that. It may just mean that, okay, we've got access to equipment.
Right. Okay, fantastic.
Which works just as well.
I mean, this stuff is great. And again, thanks to Tanaka for helping us with this stuff here. But we need to go a little bit further. So with some of our gear.
Yes.
Our listeners, did you want to catch the where they can follow us, Simon?
Yes. So where you can follow us, they've got all the usual. So Facebook, Instagram, Threads, the YouTube, which you've just very nicely said. Subscribe, comment, like, hit the bell notification button.
Ding.
When we do all of that. And if you can't remember all of that, then we've even got chatwiththeyesmen.com.
That's right.
That'll take you to Linktree. Am I remember that link?
Correct. Yeah, Linktree.
Linktree, and then
right.
then you can choose your
poison.
Choose your poison and go from there.
Exactly.
So, but yeah. So, it's my turn to ask you, Jason.
Oh, please.
What have you done since our last episode?
Well, I've attended a lot of little get-togethers, meetups around town. I did one of my How Did Jason Do That? That's one of my instructional videos where I show my
SharePoint.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, I went to the YYC M365 user group. There you go. Free shout out to you guys. They were showing us how to do some Power automation.
Yep.
Using SharePoint and throwing documents against DocuSign so that they can come back.
Ooh.
With signatures, using the DocuSign API.
The DocuSign stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then they convinced me to possibly present at the Microsoft 365 Community Day in February. So I'm going to do that.
It's my turn to come and watch you then. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. And
I won't bring any eggs.
Yeah, please don't. Unless you're February. We're getting close to Easter time, so it's not like Cadbury cream eggs. I'll take those.
Can we have Christmas first, please, Jason?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I do like to think way ahead. Right. And one of the things I went to, Coders, Creatives and Collaborators was a free network tech networking event hosted by Propel. And what we did is we kind of broke out in little sessions and came up with what we thought would be a great idea for a health app. Something
app?
Yeah, something that could change the industry. So we broke up in little teams of 4.
Health as in software health?
Yeah.
Or health as in me health?
Yeah, as in human health. What deficiencies that we see without actually being in the industry, and what we could do as a good UI, good UX for something in order to help people out with that. So not through any merit, but I won a charcuterie board. And
saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And that was provided by RMNT Remnant Woodworks, and we're going to get him on as a guest one day. He's in the health industry and knows a lot of stuff, and I'd like to pick his brain for a while.
I think the sad reflection is that humans are not very good at looking after themselves.
No, not at all.
They've got worse even.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. So we need watches and apps and stuff like that. But
yes.
Very engaging. It'll be a great episode when we get them on. We'll have to figure out when that's going to happen. But
I've got an idea about that as well.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. Yeah. And yourself, what the heck did you get up to?
Innovation Week.
Oh, that's right.
So, did a lot of Innovation Week. We had a what's called a cocktail table. So we had our TEEMA banners up, and
excellent.
Myself and Cody and Deb spent an evening talking to lots of great people at launch party. to put a number on that, I think the head count was something like 2,000 people.
Wow, impressive.
Music, canapes,
A lot of fun.
a beer.
Oh,
New startups being voted, new startup of the year, which again, cool technologies.
yeah.
Comedy moment when one of my clients just sent me a text saying "you here," and then sends me a picture of the cocktail table and our banners at the precise moment, the only time in that 4 hours when we weren't at the table.
Yeah. Perfect.
Where are you?
Yeah,
It's
where are you?
I'm on my way.
Yeah, right. Give me a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes we have to go to the washroom.
but so there's a lot of the Innovation Week is just incredible. It's incredible to be part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. Good energy. Met some good people.
The
It was
energy
neat.
is just like as we've just said. Like I wasn't feeling great, but you got into that atmosphere, and it somehow carried me through the week.
I was
Carried
only here
us
for
through the week.
1 day. You're here all the time. And I was here 1 day, and I was like, came off that floating like, this is fun.
But it's so. If anything, it's taught me again. Just where it always teaches me gratitude, but it also teaches me that humans need humans.
Yeah.
So then that correlates straight back to because the conversation about remote working and working from home and all of that kind of stuff is probably less of a component now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my point is that these events just validate.
Yeah.
It's like people need to be together.
God. Yeah.
End of.
Yes. It's funny enough because I'm in the market right now, and I've done some interviews, and I've done them through Zoom and Teams, and I'm kind of longing for an interview where
they say, we want to see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. Put on my fancy monkey suit with the tie and everything like that.
Well, fun fact, with multiples of my portfolio now, we have made the move to not do virtual interviews.
Good.
If we're local and lead candidates are local, then it's in person.
Right.
Sometimes that's not always possible because the best available individuals are somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
That's not local.
Fair enough.
In that case, we keep it remote. But other than that, and I think in terms of when we're talking about what we do, managed services, recruitment, HR strategy, that kind of thing, putting people in the room gives a different read. It takes away barriers, takes away places to hide.
Yeah.
It's like you can see if someone's showing up.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. And I'm tired of having to clean up my room every single time I'm on one of those calls. I turn on the camera and go, "Oh, I got to get rid of those socks." And then run over
there's a funny story to that. So there's this was COVID when we were doing 100%, obviously remote and Zoom and Teams interviewing, and one of my hiring managers was this was from feedback from one of our candidates. He would focus on, how you are showing up on screen, but he would also then look directly behind you to see what was on the wall. Mm-hmm. So one individual played an instrument, not a guitar, not a sitar. It was something else.
Interesting.
But anyway, so the question came along was like, okay, greatest electric guitar riff in history, go.
Oh.
And the candidate, which is completely left field of
right.
what the purpose of the interview, the candidate was kind of like,
All right.
Give me a minute. But again, it's great because it was different ideas of how to assess.
Somebody in this room may have, during the height of COVID when we're all working from home, somebody may have picked up a guitar that somebody saw on the wall, and I picked it up and said, "Do you guys want me to sing you a song?" And they said yes, so I did. I actually serenaded a group of people on a Zoom call. I really did. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah. No fear.
That is wicked.
Fear. Yeah.
So, but what was your question? What have I done since the last recording?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's busy.
Yeah, that's good.
It is busy. Lots of very empowering conversations.
What did you learn?
What have I learned?
Nothing's an okay answer too. I feel like just there's nothing.
No, but
the
thing is, I have. The better word is what have I learned? I've just learned more validation.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So I've had, which is a nice thing to come through. If if I sit down and dissect all the conversations that I've had and the questions that are being asked, then it kind of comes back to validation, and more importantly, it's can we react? Can I react to it? Can my peers at TEEMA react to it? Can we put the correct service together? And the answer to all of that is yes. So yeah, that's what I've learned, which is kind of it's exciting. We just kind of just waiting to be engaged now properly, and away we go.
Good.
So
I learned. Actually, not I learned. It's kind of validating as well, something that I had. The last episode was about relationships.
Yep.
And one of the things I may or may not have brought up, but it kind of came to light with that presentation you're doing here about the importance of corporate branding, if I recall. That was
yes.
Yeah. So
employee and employer branding.
That's right. One of the things that came up by your colleague on stage was opening up your mind to the possibility that your baby is ugly.
Yep.
Yeah, which was neat because I've tried to do that. I've tried to do that in my personal. Never make the assumption I'm perfect. Always reassess myself to see.
It's so freaking difficult,
right? Because sometimes you get locked in your ways. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to be comfortable laying yourself bare.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that it kind of this opened my eyes is when it came to business as well is that kind of thing can happen very easily in a corporation as well. The not identifying that possibly your baby's ugly, what you think your company has a good culture, yet people are leaving. Why is that? You put ping pong tables up. I mean that's a good culture, isn't it? Yeah, you have a foosball table. That's you must have a good culture, right? Yeah. There's an assumption that just because you may go drinking a lot or throw foosball tables in your office that you have a good culture.
Yes.
And you have to reassess what your culture is all the time. You
Well,
have to rest on your laurels.
There's also probably a darker conversation to have, probably another episode another time, but there's also a darker conversation to have that there's progress in chaos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Which is that, again, like as you alluded to, you kind of throw a superficial safe zone, as it were. Mm-hmm. Like go play ping pong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Never touch those tables ever, because the boss is probably watching. Who's not working?
100%.
Yeah. No, it's a trap. Don't fall for it. If your office has a ping pong table, be very scared. Don't touch it. You know your boss is watching you.
Yes. Are you staying late? Yes. Playing ping pong.
Yes, that's right. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Been there, done that. So many places. So
it's funny. So we've had a busy week in between episodes, then, haven't we? I think is what we're saying.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to network all over the place. So trying to keep myself relevant, really, which is funny.
Because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, Jason.
What a great segue! Hey, look at me, I'm like a pro at this now. What a coincidence! That's what we're going to talk about.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. So. Let's talk about that.
Staying relevant.
God, I'm going to turn on. We have a little timer here, ladies and gentlemen, so we know we don't go over time.
Social media, online presence, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of different topics of discussion that were provided by ChatGPT. Isn't that crazy?
And that's what I've just had a look at. So thank you, Copilot, for this.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm having a look at all of that. I'm looking at all of that stuff. But I'm also working hard. The reason why there is that pause in conversation is the again, both of us we've got a personal benchmark, a personal journey to reference this all back to. So in my, again, research and thought process to this episode was, well, is staying relevant, does it connect to competing?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and then I immediately think to myself, well, what's my reference point? Well, my reference point is leaving an established career in the UK to come to Canada to re-establish a career, rebuild a career, and like go again from zero.
Wow!
Because the reality is that as much as the smiles that you get and welcomes to Canada and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. The reality is that nobody really cares, which is a horrible thing to say. But So therefore, it's like, well, okay, so straight away, and that I'm talking about the way that I viewed it, like nobody really cares until and so therefore I've got to reinvent, and I've got to reinvent quick, which means I've probably got to compete to figure out how I'm going to fit. Because I know that the way that stuff was worked in the UK was not a fit for Canada, because the market's just aggressive.
Oh yeah.
It just is.
I wouldn't be able to handle it.
It's that I can't remember that I've lost count of how many meetings I walked into, and the facility director would sit there and say, "Okay, and Simon, you've got 30 seconds, go."
Yeah.
And I had 30 seconds to plead my case.
Yeah.
To get my point across, or it was like, "Okay, yep, next meeting, see you."
Yeah. My goodness. Well,
and that would be it. And so, but again, it gives the power of reinvention, because where does reinvention start? That's how. There you go.
Gotcha.
That's how I got there in the end. So how does reinvention start?
When I say 30 seconds as well, I kind of think that art flourishes under restrictions as well. So if you have 30, it's I could see that working if you have that kind of mind. You can make it work.
You got to think on the fly, right?
Think on the fly, exactly, and be good at it. So.
Well, and then you hit the problem with fact and logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This will work. This will work. This will work. This won't, and this is why.
Yeah. There we go.
Which is the attention grabber, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and for the next 15 seconds, I'll amaze you with shadow puppets.
Right?
Yeah.
A goose.
Yeah, it's a bird. I can't. There's in the camera. It's a dog. Roof.
So, but again, I think to knit everything that we've probably talked about in the last few hours and the last few episodes it's all of it brings everything back into contents, because I think ultimately what we're talking about is being relevant. It's about being present.
Yep.
And being in the market that you're serving, because being relevant, if you're correctly engaged with your audience, target markets, all of this kind of stuff, then that's where your relevance is. You just need to make sure that you're connecting yourself to the right source of truth. And that source of truth may be a collaboration of a lot of conversations that probably don't make sense at the time, until you kind of sit back and kind of you're trying to decompress at the end of a day, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, so that connects into that, connects into this, connects into that. So maybe the overall theory is X. And then you sit with that thought process for a little bit and think, okay, am I tired?
Yeah.
And then it all kind of comes back. And yeah, I think everything that we've talked about. But again, what's your thoughts on it? What do you think? How do you reinvent? How do you keep yourself relevant?
It's very very much what's happening to me right now. I am on the hunt, so I'm trying to make sure I'm still relevant.
Yep.
But at the same time, trying to peacock out to the world, going, "Hey, I'm relevant, guys." So there's a lot of that, and yeah, it's overwhelming at times, and sometimes it just trying to keep it up. Yeah. It's,
Well, we're back to relationship with self, episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. It was a good one. Watch it. If you haven't seen it yet. So,
but it is, isn't it? Because that is in those moments, as we've chatted about before, Jace, in those moments when you are reinventing, those are probably the loneliest times that you'll professionally ever experience, because it's something that you have to carry. You have to carry yourself. So you've kind of got an idea. You've potentially got a service offering, what it could mean to a particular client, and then you kind of have to be patient then for that opportunity to present itself. But in order for the opportunity to present itself, to validate your thought processes around reinvention, you have to be patient, because you've got to wait for that conversation to come. I'm
not patient.
Nor am I.
No, I don't like
that. Or the only way that you can kind of motivate it is by saying, well, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Like, are you seeing, like, help me work something out. This is what I'm seeing in the market based on six conversations, which I think if we bring all of those 6 conversations together, this is what it actually means.
Truth is in there somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Because then from all of that, reinvention, occurs. And on the odd occasion, you come up with something that the industry's never not used to.
Yeah.
Which means that your peers in our wonderful recruitment managed service world will be going, no, I don't think that's right, Jason. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be right for you.
No, that's right.
But for my client here, it's perfect for them.
Yep.
Just because you've put your own fears and barriers in there, that's reinvention, is it not?
Yeah, pretty much. So what was your journey like then? To just rewind it a little bit, when you came to Canada, how did you start in the reinvention? Did you try to or relevant, not reinvention? What was your first step on trying to become relevant to the Calgary market? Were you doing it prior to the flight over? Trying to?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Did
you already have connections?
So that was. So I spent. I changed my cell phone plan to called national and international calling. So I would work all day in my job, and then my commute home was anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. And I would spend 2 hours in my car making calls out to the local market here in Calgary.
Oh, no kidding! Oh, fantastic.
So that's where
it started. The day in Canada.
Yeah,
when you ride home,
and that's where it started. And but that was also, looking back, it also probably gave me a lot of traction because people were not expecting that. Because there would be parts of the conversation where folks would say, "Hold on a second, where are you calling from?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm currently in the UK," and they're like, "Well, what time is it?" I'm like, "Well, it's 6 o'clock in the evening," which whatever that meant time here. Interviews at like 9 o'clock in the evening UK time, 10 o'clock in the evening UK time. I think the latest was an 11 o'clock, which is tough because I'm still in my job, which was a 5 o'clock in the morning up and out type routine. So
my goodness,
11 o'clock gives me like 6 hours worth of sleep.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. I started with the conversations of, okay, well, this is what I'm doing, this is what I am, this is what my experience to date are, this is how I think I can impact and fit into the Calgary market when I'm there, because I can have conversations at every level. And every solution. So, and then it would be, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, I can talk to you about full master vend. I can do co-vend, co-vendor, vendor of record, prime vend status, all of this kind of stuff, where we can take everything on as prime vendor, and then me as prime vendor then audits a separate vendor list to an agreed specification, and then I control that, which takes pressure away from the other client, or from the client, so the client can just carry on focusing on what they do.
Excellent.
So that was my start of that was the start of my reinvention, which was like, excellent. This is what I've done. Am I relevant?
Right.
And having clients come back and saying, that sounds interesting. Let's talk more.
So did you try and do like a balanced approach between like a more of an organic focused approach to build up your network in Calgary, or was it kind of scattershot, like broadcast everywhere you could?
Yeah. I went everywhere.
Yeah.
I met everybody.
Yeah.
I had coffee with everybody.
Excellent. Fantastic.
And and to some extent I'm still there. In fact, one of my bosses later on actually criticised me for that. I think he pulled the numbers and he said, it was like, Simon, I think it was a week I'd met something like 16 people across something like 8 or 9, may have even been 10 different companies.
Oh, wow.
And he said, but it's like that's not focused. I'm like, well, to you it might not be focused.
Yeah.
But to me it's focused because my mindset at the time was a sponge.
Yeah.
So to have rational thought in Simon land, I need to have lots of different perspectives and a lot of different conversations so that I can attempt to try and make sense of it all and avoid bias.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did.
Were you good at remembering names?
Faces. I never forget a face.
Never forget a face. Yeah.
Names might take me a little bit, but it comes back to me.
I think a lot of people get worried about names. I've decided to not get worried about names because I'll be completely open in front. I'll open it up front. I forgot your name. I'm sorry, but I remember you from last time, and I'm sorry.
Yep.
Refresh me. And usually, once you tell me,
I remember those
twice.
days.
Yeah.
She said, I think twice she said it to me, and that was it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, once if you're just honest about sometimes being bad at names, and then people are okay with it. I think people get themselves way too worried about. Oh my God, I don't know.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, it's all right. Just be human.
My memory retention is scenarios.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it's like people will kind of say, "Oh my God, you remember that?" Because I'll kind of say, "Look, I know that we've met, and we met when this happened, and then if you remember as well, there was blah blah blah." And they're like, "Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Now I remember you."
Right. I'm the kind of person who I'll have to, in order to remember a name, sometimes I have to think of a location. And it may not actually be a location related to where I met them. It's just like some childhood memory place, but I associate that person's face and I repeat the name a couple of times in some place. And I don't know why, but it's like partially autistic kind of thing where, frequently I'll think of different places I've seen around the world in my lifetime. To help me remember things.
My thing about but that's a trained thing, isn't it? They've confirmed that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. The muscle memory training.
Interesting.
Memory muscle training. I can't remember the actual, but there's a way of doing it. So you associate a word, a face to something something else that helps you just remember.
Yeah.
Just gets it committed to memory.
Yeah.
But for me, I remember my parents were just terrible with names. Mm-hmm. So again, one of my best buds in the world is actually called Jason.
Ah, there we go.
But my dad would always go, "Oh, have you been out riding your bike with Jason? How's Jason?" I'm like, "Adjacent to what?"
Yeah. Jason to who?
It's like it's Jason, right?
Yeah.
It's Jason. Or in fact, it's not Jason. It's Simo because his second name is Simpson. So it's Simo. Same as like I was never Simon. Never Simon. It's Crouchy.
Fantastic.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
It's the way it works. But reinvention. That's how I started. But if I talk about vulnerability, being scared, being isolated and on my own, during that period of time, that was when it was such a dent on self-confidence, because I could probably say I doubted myself all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Internally, outwardly, people will kind of go, "Oh man, this guy's flipping, killing it." But internally, it was kind of like, oh,
yeah. And it's that neat little thing, especially when looking for work. It's that balance of not letting. Oh, we have some. Not sure the mic's picking that up. Yeah, right. some siren. Somebody's in trouble. But it's trying to have that balance of feeling like you're on top of your game 100%, so you're ready for an interview, but inside you're starting to doubt yourself when it goes on to week 3, week 4, and it's, but you have to keep in mind that sometimes it's the decision to call you is just being put off because of something that's happening in the office.
So many different factors.
Right. Yeah.
So many different factors.
It's not personal, but I've been through those, and I remember specifically the 08-09 downturn when at the company I was with.
Those years.
Yeah.
Holy smoke!
The company I worked with, almost everyone I knew was let go, and at that time I was the only breadwinner in the house, and that hunting for a job in those days, I was very fortunate. I was only out for about 5 weeks, which was kind of record setting compared to some of the other people I knew. But during those 5 weeks, I just remember being beside myself and thinking, like, this is my family's well-being. Why aren't you guys calling me? Put down that coffee.
Yep.
But sometimes it's okay. It's not that. It's okay. It's not personal.
Well, and sometimes. So here's a question. Then for viewers and for you, Jace. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the opportunity. Do you think that all you need is, again, I'm quoting Jesse Owens, all you need is one chance. You just need somebody to say, "Hey, what do you think and can you do?" Mm-hmm. And maybe. Do you think that in those two questions, that one sentence, in there contains reinvention.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
because it's and I think Richard Branson says this in his book, which I love the book. But effectively, he basically says, okay, just say yes to everything and then figure it out, which you've got to be careful with.
Fair enough.
Like you have got to be careful with.
Yeah.
But if you look at the context in which he's saying it, because I read this particular paragraph so many times during our immigration process and me trying to reinvent myself, it was like, well, that again, we've got an individual leading, again, one of the biggest organisations in the world. And all he was, the actual positioning of the conversation was just to give him a chance. But the chance was then given on leadership and trust, where they would say, okay, then Richard, we want you for this, and we're not going to try and manipulate or handcuff you to a set of regulations that's going to stop you being creative.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is, again, as I was doing my research for this, I'm like, well, maybe that again is another opportunity of reinvention, because all you're asking for is leadership to kind of leave you alone and be you.
Right. Exactly.
I want this, Jace.
Yeah.
I want this. This is what I want it to look like. Go.
Well, I think that's part of the job hunt thing. We've heard this multiple times. Like, I think a lot of people get worried when they're looking for something. And the job description it's a Swiss Army knife. You need to be good at .NET, Cobalt, JavaScript, changing oil in a car.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, cooking an omelet. Like it's all listed.
It's all in there.
And people are sometimes assume that you need to have all those things before you apply. And I don't. I have a couple of those things. Good enough. Put it in. And it's because my resume will speak volumes about what I've done in the past, and that obviously I've done this stuff, and I'm able to pivot.
Yep.
So I can. There's a good chance of that. Do you know how to do this? No. Just let me run with it, though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've seen what you've done in the past. Yeah. Cool. Right.
Because there is a business in our world where we've just got to figure it. There isn't an answer.
That's right. Yeah.
Probably at the time of inception, there isn't an answer.
No. And that's so much fun too, though. It's so much fun to live through. It's scary at the time, but also when you achieve. I think I did a solution for a baseball team, a Major League Baseball team, and it was just to help them out with non-game day events. And I just had this idea in my head, like I think Power Automate could do this, and so like yes, I'll do it for you. And then oh boy, that was a fun week of learning everything I possibly could in order to make this solution come to life.
Reinvention.
Yeah. Right then and there. One week was a pivotal moment in my career. Just that 1 week of kind of. I was pretty sure I could deliver it, but I didn't quite know the tool well enough to definitely say I could get it done. But it was fun, and I did. And
empowered.
Awesome. Yeah.
Empowered to reinvention, empowered to greatness.
Yeah.
Just because you're allowed to think.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why it's such a tough subject to talk about. Because again, my I guess seeing the kids, my eldest, because my youngest she's still at school, but seeing him kind of graduate high school and then society kind of literally giving it the old, what are you gonna do? And him kind of like, well, I don't really know. And as I think I've mentioned this before, so we've figured it out the other way. So it's like, okay, then we'll start with stuff that you are not likely to fall in love with. Well, what do you mean? It's like, okay, well, go be. So he was a yardman for a little bit.
Okay.
So, and again, it loses its appeal when the temperatures hit -30 and you're sat outside.
That's why I work in an office. That was identified very young, that when I saw people working outside, I didn't want to be cold.
First step in reinvention. Yeah. Okay, tell me what you don't want to do. Yeah. I do not want to do that.
That's
okay?
Right. Yeah.
What's next? Don't know. Which again is fine. Then
that's fine.
Pick something else that you think.
Yeah.
And then it's process of elimination. So again, process of elimination. But I also
I gotta try this with my kids.
think, well, he's an apprentice, a HVAC apprentice now.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
So, and he's kind of like he's at the level now where he'd sit outside and he'd walk straight into a room and looks up.
Yeah. Oh, I get. I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this means this, and this is it. And it's like, as long as you understand it, son, that's all I need.
A lot of people are like that when they come to their an ex-girlfriend of mine worked in the dentist field, and it's like my eyes are up here.
Stop looking at my
stop
teeth.
looking at my teeth. How you doing? They're fine. I brush. Shut up.
But again, but going back to our last episode, right side of weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right side of weird means that it means that you've got the passion.
Yeah.
In something that just validates self, where you're looking at that and you're going, do you know what, I can do this. And then the reinvention and the staying relevant is then just about refining your own knowledge and refining your place in that market and being known as the person that can figure stuff out.
Yep.
Again, going right back to, I think, our preamble episode, which was just let me be the best that I can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And go.
Yep.
So maybe So maybe reinvention is that.
Yeah.
Because that popped into my head again from your original conversation in terms of what did I do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the bottom line question was just like, my only question was just let me be me.
Yep. Fantastic.
Even at interview, I said that. I was like, well, what support can we give you? And it's like, well, just kind of, let me be me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah, it's kind of true. Yeah, I mean that's you're making the ideas or past experiences come to my mind. Just you saying that, it was. Yeah, I went into a company as a help desk guy, but I had such a passion and a history with doing web stuff, and so it was kind of a little bit that as well. Just you do,
you do you.
You do you, and
this is what I want, Jace. Yeah. You do you.
And I was identified with certain things and kind of moved into different areas because they could see. But one of them was from there. I went from I don't want to make this all about me, but one episode I started the company in the help desk, and within a year I was in the software packaging, and that was a neat one because I think
hell of a lot of pressure in that world.
Yeah,
holy smokes, because you've got to make it fit.
Yeah,
my old world, which is supply chain, distribution, and logistics. So a box has to fit a certain way.
Yeah, it was fantastic though. It was a lot of fun because I was brought into that team with zero knowledge, but they just identified something about me and my attitude. And I guess with my past experience coming up as well, they're like, he looks like a good person for the team. He'll figure it out. So I hit the ground zero at the software, and within no time at all, not no time at all, in an acceptable amount of time, I understood what to do and did that for a year, and it was great. So
it's wicked. It's awesome.
Then to another position where I did the same thing again, ground zero, started up again.
Can you? And again, and I love those scenarios. Mm-hmm. It's like, can we? I've got, and this is, I'm remembering one particular scenario prior to coming to Canada, but it's still relevant to our conversation now. And that was, again, a facility director he was down to open up a new distribution facility. I think it was something like, I can't remember, it was about 500,000 square foot. And it was an old facility. In fact, it dated back to pre-World War II, and it was actually an old tank assembly plant.
Oh, wow.
That he somehow had to figure out how to make it good for goods in, cross-freight, all of that kind of stuff. So goods in received, storage, pick, and then goods out and dispatch. So he gave me a call one day and he says, "Okay, and Simon, you're our partner for this. It's like, I'm going to go down and walk the floor. Do you want to come walk the floor with me?"
Mm-hmm.
Same as you.
Yeah.
I was like, I loved it. So anyway, we walked around and again, it was kind of like just that one question of, we think this, what do you think? Mm-hmm. And it was a logical conversation because you could kind of see, once you're in those facilities, you can see the flow.
Mm-hmm.
and how a semi is going to kind of reverse into a dock and all of this kind of stuff, whether you're self-leveling or you're using some kind of other way of doing it. And it was, it was okay. So we've got that flow. Now, what are we going to do about the MHE, the manual handling equipment, so the forklift trucks, stuff like that?
Yeah.
And then you look at the floor and you think, okay, well, this floor's like freaking 100 years old. Like, a lot of the new stuff's not going to run on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just I think there's our answer.
Right.
It's just that position when a client says, hey, Jace.
Yeah. What would you do? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say I don't know.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But
Humility.
let me figure something out. Scenarios, all of this kind of thing.
Which I think when it comes to reinventing yourself or making yourself relevant is don't be scared of the challenge. Don't be scared of the change.
God, no.
Yeah. So
No.
we talked about it as well. A lot of people in the IT industry they'll lock in and I know this and everything else is stupid. And not a lot of people. I know people.
Those scenarios I know are career limiting.
Yeah, career suicide. I think you said.
Well, it kind of it is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And what I'm thinking there are if you think about the people that have had the roughest time of reinvention and all of that kind of stuff over the last 5 years, since cloud, which started to become serious.
Yeah,
are the infrastructure guys.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't imagine what some of them went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless
I'm good with network attached storage. Well, we have the cloud for that now. I can't imagine. Yeah.
Well, you went from like, okay, I can build data. I can build your room. What rack are we using? What hardware are we using? Blah 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 blah. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's somebody like I can do with minimal instruction. I can start up a data center in a couple of seconds.
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's that's what we're talking about here. Is that the reinvention is the realization that hey, I got to do something different because I'm losing relevance. I'm losing my ability to compete.
That's
Hence
right.
the reason why I said right at the top of it, is it's competition.
Right.
And it's competition with self.
Yeah.
Competition with market. Competition with relevance.
Yes. And this isn't a new thing either. This has been going for years and years and years. Yeah. My mom's side of the family worked at a typesetting place, the Monotype, South England. And that was back in the days of printing presses. So it was a big deal when you needed to have things printed. And then along came computers with desktop publishing and wiped it out.
Gone. A whole industry. An industry app.
Yeah, right. So, and that's been happening forever, from cotton gins to it's all over the place. So,
relationship with self, confidence with self, and just having the energy to stay competitive.
Well, it makes me wonder as well. When I first started in my working world, actually, I'm trained as a draftsperson.
No way, are you really?
Yeah, I am.
I didn't know that.
So yeah,
it's just a fascinating profession to me.
Yeah, AutoCAD, T-squares, the whole lot. Yeah, that was.
Did you have like those big desks, 45 degrees, and
Yep. Yeah, I did all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Electric erasers and erasing guards and the whole lot. But it actually, I got into it for that reason. But that's not what I got to work in. So that was a great example of the world changing, the industry changing as well. Obviously, you're not going to have what's going to make more sense as a business, having entire floors of tables at 45-degree angles with people slowly drawing, or do you have AutoCAD? You click from here to here and it's done. And
I mean, a long time ago, I tried to break in. I applied for, and I did apply for a aerodynamics scholarship within Formula One. Because Formula One was looking to bring more people into the world of aerodynamics.
And you like your cars, Simon.
Love my cars, Jace.
Love your cars. I definitely have not noticed all the posts that you like on LinkedIn at all with cars. Yeah.
Yeah, cars and aeroplanes.
Yeah.
And you put those two together and you've got a Formula One car.
Yeah, exactly. A plane with an upside down wing to keep it on the ground.
Correct.
Is pretty much what an F1 is.
Correct. Yeah. So I applied for that. Because I was fascinated, and I'm I still refer to myself as a racer. I'm just an old racer.
Yeah,
I love racing. I love speed. I love the competition. It's like, okay. But the CAD CAM thing was a thing that was appealing to me, because in my head, like romanticizing about it all, I'd just have this big, huge desk, 45-degree angles, sheet of paper, and somebody would walk in and go, okay, then how are we going to make this race car stick to the ground? And I'd kind of go, well, we do this angle, this trajectory.
That's kind of fun. It's like our Venn diagram is actually very. The reason why I got into drafting in the first place is because I wanted to design cars. So,
reinvention, buddy.
Yeah. Then I realized, wait, it's not like there's. And then I kind of identified that maybe car design is not as artistic as I thought it was going to be, and it's not like there's a go down to the job bank and look, Audi's looking for a new car designer. Right?
No,
yeah,
it's not really that.
No.
Like you can spend years in. So somebody that I know, still talk to him now. He was started off with Jaguar.
Okay.
Trained as a Jaguar engineer and all of that kind of stuff. And then he is now has his own company in the south of France as a super yacht engineer.
No kidding. Wow. That'd be exciting.
So it's. Well,
I watched some Below Decks. It's
just, but
Thanks, Jody.
It's interesting. And going back to the drafts person, so here's an example of competition. Is that, and somebody being really, really good at what they do. So the gentleman's name is Adrian Newey, and he's been in Formula One for decades, and a leading authority of aerodynamics and ground effect cars and all of that kind of stuff. So ground effect cars are pretty much less wing on the top of the car, and there's more going on underneath the car that makes the car stick to the floor. He still walks around with a notepad and pen, notes, sketches, still has his drafts board. And here's the kicker, in that he has 3, so he's with Red Bull, and the last time I think I looked at the documentary, he has 3 people trying to keep up with him, digitalizing his ideas.
No kidding. Wow, that's awesome. I don't keep on top of it, man. The advances that industry brings.
Insane.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
I don't really follow it, but whenever I do turn my head towards looking at Formula One, they look different again. Oh, what have you put on this time?
Well, here's something about data. So data, in our world, everybody goes crazy about data, right? Data sets. Have you got clean data? Do you just consume data?
Yeah.
Show me what data you've got. So they were. I went to an online conference where the wife of Toto Wolff, who is the boss of Mercedes, his wife, Susan, was there as a guest speaker, and she was talking about data, and somebody said, "Well, how do you know what data to?" And this is a conversation that leads to, please delete data, because the problem that we've got is all of our applications are overloaded with, in some areas, irrelevant data, right?
Yeah.
So she said, well, in the race world, in a car's world, I've got 3 years worth of regulations. So I'm constantly, it's prototype racing basically.
Right.
So I'm reinventing and improving that car within those set of regulations for 3 years.
Wow.
So every data point, by the time I get to the end of the 3 years, has been analysed, sub-analysed, over-analysed, and reanalyzed a gazillion times.
Fantastic.
So when I get to the end of 3 years, I know what's trash.
Yep. Yeah.
I literally know what's trash, because people will go, well, what about this data set? It's crap. Get rid.
Yep.
And
my life was that data set for 3 years. I know what. Yeah.
And I kind of had a Yahoo moment with that, because it's kind of like, whoa, man. So again, when we bring it back to our local community, and people say, oh, well, I live in the data, it's like, do you live in the data?
Yeah.
Or do you just look at data traffic?
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Because there's a difference between being able to speak to a data set to a very deep
an
understanding way, or kind of just sitting there going, whew, there's a lot of data going into that data lake.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wow, look at those lines going up and down real time. Yeah.
So, again, but it all still comes back to reinvention, right? Which comes back
Yeah.
to the individual, the way the mindset is. Are you being conceptual? Are you too accepting of norms?
Yep. That's right.
Do you think that's a fair point?
Yes.
Because if people,
Yeah.
coming back to what you said, if you've
Is
got
the baby ugly?
yes,
And not just corporate culture, but yeah.
it's so much to do with that because
Self-reflection.
Yeah, but not too much, because then you know, analysis causes paralysis and all of that stuff.
Fair
right?
enough. Yeah. Always.
But it's the what a conversation.
It is, right? Yeah, indeed. Which I was actually just looking at one right now. So networking and building relationships. So that's part of the reinvention is some of these things I've been going to, these little get-togethers throughout Calgary through meetup.com.
Is it helping you? Is it helping you? Genuinely, is it helping you? What are you finding out of it with all of that?
I think it actually sometimes I think a lot of people like to have the broad stroke brush of whether or not you're introvert or extrovert. I find that sometimes it depends on the situation and my current mood and things going on. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they drain me, for sure. And I know when they drain me, I shouldn't be there.
Okay.
So
when you know you're with your people or when you're not with your people.
yeah. And I never know when that's going to hit. Sometimes it could be very good, very fun. But sometimes it's just my mind going into it. So it's definitely an exercise in seeing whether or not I'm introvert or extrovert at that moment.
Got it.
Which is neat. But yeah, I've been meeting some people. That's great. Making lots of friends on LinkedIn. So that's good. It's never bad.
Reinvention.
Exactly.
It's reinvention.
Yeah, I met a couple of people at that when you were doing the employer
branding
Yeah.
thing.
So yeah,
That was a good audience. We had some good feedback with that.
Yeah, it was very good.
But again, if you look at the audience, Jace, most folks in there were looking to do the reinvention.
Yep. Yeah. Quite a few HR people talking about that as well. So yeah, that was interesting.
Because it's participant driven. Like you got to participate.
Yep.
It's and I was the world's worst. Let's go to a disco and I'll stand on the sidelines like sipping a beer watching everybody else dance.
Yeah, that was me as well, yeah.
At some point you got to get on the dance floor and just give it some.
That's right, yeah. Oh my God, the amount of years I wasted.
I could have been the next John Travolta.
I could have been, yeah, that's right. I wonder why that girl's not noticing me.
Right?
Standing in a corner by myself. But
what about if I get in the middle of the dance floor and do one of these?
that's right, yeah. No shame, just go for it. Yes, I've actually found that works a lot better. So that's part of my reinvention as well, is not being scared. Not being scared to have fun.
Dude, that's such a loaded thing to say.
Yeah. Just have fun, who cares? And when you have the right really personality, people just come in. So
that's a heavy thing to say.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to think about that for a minute.
Yeah. I'm not scared of people, and that's.
No, I'm not scared of it, but there's some situations that you're scared of, and that's the thing that we're talking about here. Is like, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Judge your way.
Yep. Exactly.
If you need to.
Yep.
If you're going to stand there, if you're going to stand there and kind of go, oh yeah, well your moves are a little bit rusty, or like say, oh, good job on the dad moves. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, 100%.
I like gin and tonic. Off you go.
Yeah. And it's has very easy, and this has been curated since my early 20s. I love being in front of people playing guitar.
Yes.
But the first time I did that was in my high school, and I was so nervous that I pretty much just had my back to the crowd because I was too scared to be up, and I never wanted to repeat that. I'm like, this is what you've been waiting for, and then you turned your back to the crowd. Like, not anymore. No.
That's awesome.
So yeah, fake it till you make it. Hit that stage, and don't be scared.
Let's go.
Yeah. If anything, it's just refining the art over the years. So
yep.
And if I screw up, I don't sweat about it. I frequently bring it up to the crowd, like, oh, if I'm trying to hit a note. I think so. That happened this past Friday as well. I was at an open mic, and I started playing a song that was really freaking ambitious, and there were going to be some notes that I may not hit. And as I was getting to that point, I'm like, I'm not going to hit those notes. And so I even just kind of paused for a second and go, this is going to be very difficult. I'm sorry, everyone. And I hit those notes almost. But I got a lot of claps for it, for attempting it. But being human, not being scared, being vulnerable, showing. So
I wonder if reinvention is that then.
Yeah. Just dive head.
What about
first,
mobility?
Feet first.
Because you can't stagnate, can you? You can't stand still with reinvention.
No, not at all. Not at all. Nope, you're moving all the time.
So living in a constant... Do you think living in a constant state of being comfortable, being uncomfortable?
Yes. No one's ever grown by being relaxed and comfortable. Ever.
No.
So, yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And all the best of everything is I think that's proven throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything, isn't it?
Yep. Art flourishes with restrictions. I can't remember, something along those lines, right? So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, there's so many things through history about that. That's just. Yeah. Another book that I like is a book by Sir Jackie Stewart. So he was a 3-time Formula One champion in the 70s. And this comes back to relevant to present day, because everything, if you look at our world now, everything's on a contract, everything's on a signature. Mm-hmm. Have we got the paperwork to perform? Is this in place? Have we got the right legal and mitigation standpoints? Is that all there? Which again, we're alluding to, some of that stuff can stifle reinvention and creativeness.
Yep.
There's this part chapter where he's talking about his relationship of the team owner and him, that he had all of his success with. He was with that one team forever. And the part that blew my mind was that he never signed a contract with him. It was all on a shake of a hand.
Wow.
And the one time where they sat down and he basically said, okay, so, and this was early on in his career, again, talk about related to reinvention, we can either pay you a salary, and this is what it looks like, or we kind of give you a salary, but we'll do everything else based on, so endorsements are open, so product endorsement is open, race win bonuses, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And he went for the latter. Yeah. Which multiple people said, are you freaking nuts?
Right. Well, I think a lot of businesses try and do that nowadays with shares, with shares within the organization, giving share options within.
But I think there's one. I think there's one component missing though, and that's trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think it's used as a buzzword now.
Yeah.
I've got stocks.
Yeah.
Have you really got stocks?
Yeah.
Like, what's got to happen? What activity has got to happen for those stocks to pay out? And I'm not calling into question the integrity of that conversation.
No.
I'm really not.
No.
What I'm saying is that sometimes in the modern day world is that people kind of get a bit too starry-eyed with that thing, and don't question it enough.
And that could be to talk about your thing that you talked about, the employer brand as well. So you may say you have all these things, but when you work there for a while, maybe you can see,
yeah, you can see it. You can see it again. Which, you're right. It comes back to the employer branding and the employee.
Now you're offering stock options, but I've now been with you for a couple of years, and I'm just not feeling it. And I think you're just saying that to keep people around.
Yeah,
yeah. So
or you've got stocks, and then you kind of realise that, and this is my own experience. You get stocks and shares and all of this kind of stuff, which is great. It feels really nice to have those. Mm-hmm. But then when you look in terms of when they vest, that means that something bad has got to happen, i.e. you've got to leave the company to get them paid out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, in that case, then I don't want the stocks. I want to keep my job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So can you just kind of let me just keep here and just concentrate on being great here, as opposed to, building something that at some point you're going to turn it into a rod to hit me with.
Right.
But should we talk about the next one? Next episode.
The next episode. What are you thinking, Simon?
So I'm thinking that we have a guest next time.
That'll be fantastic. And
the guest topic, we talk about all of the preceding 4 episodes.
Bringing them all in together.
Yes.
Nice. We get somebody else's take on it.
Yes.
I like that. That's good. Well done.
And then we do another 4 episodes, and then the guest at the end of that does the same kind of thing.
That's
or it may be
fantastic.
2 episodes and then...
It's almost like it's like one of those tell-alls kind of thing at the end of a season. That you see.
Conversation, guest validates. Conversation, guest validates.
Fantastic. That's pretty good. I like that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely get some people on here, not just us talking. And maybe possibly a change of venue. I did walk past and investigate a little bit more. It's called CAC's Podcast Bar.
Okay, and
so it looks like I think you can have a proper sound room. Might be able to rent out.
And what about the processing for 4K and stuff like that? Can we do that there as well?
Not sure if they have. Yeah, probably. I'm guessing you bring your own gear to a degree. I mean, they may have all the sound gear there ready, but I think I didn't look into that. I'll definitely find out. Hey, if CACs, you guys are watching this, then reach out and tell us what the deal is here.
Reach out and tell us.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Well, and platform as well, actually.
And platform, yeah.
There's some brilliant people here that, again, that equipment's probably a 30-second walk in that direction.
Fair enough, yeah. I'm sure there's enough processing power in this building somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if you'd like to be a sponsor and buy us new equipment, then again, you will be all over. You'll be down there with all the other sponsors.
Forever indebted.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the week, hey, you and Jason should have a chat show.
That's right. Like right now, at this end of this episode, I could be calling out that company right now, not only at the beginning of the episode, but the end of the episode, saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's a sponsor and gave us the ability to render these things in 4K.
Chat show would be good.
Yeah. That'd be
radio chat show, and then we can geek out over music. Listen to this.
I like it. Right. Fantastic. So that's great. Again, just to remind you guys, you can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. And if you're on YouTube, click that thumb button, icon, the bell, so you get notified when new stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And any comments below, please. And follow us, subscribe.
Followers.
My goodness.
Comments.
Yeah. Subscriptions matter, yeah.
Be nice.
Yes, and be nice. Always be nice.
Be nice.
Yes.
And it's the end of the year now, so let's put some put some love out there.
Love
and hugs.
I think next episode I'm wearing a Santa hat.
We probably need to.
Yeah, I think that's only appropriate.
Santa hat.
That's right.
Do we need to emphasise the
grey beard?
It's not grey, it's distinguished
That's right.
colouring, Jason.
That's right. It's not just for men.
It's organic growth.
That's right. Fantastic. I love it. And again, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I said YouTube already. And chatwithyesmen.com. It's all there.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that was fun, Simon.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
thank
that
you.
one.
Yeah.
It's a tough subject.
It is.
So if you can listen to that and you can find out,
right,
or give us a direction in what you think of the direction that we went,
yeah.
then I'd love to hear your comments.
Fantastic.
Really would love to hear your comments.
Yes, very much so. Engage us in conversation with the comments below. We would love to talk about these more after the fact. Yeah, I'm sure we missed stuff. Oh.
Give us your thoughts in the comment section about doing this live.
Ooh, there we go. That'd be fun.
So we go live, we go interactive. You're in the audience.
Don't get me in front of a live crowd because I love it too much and
you got to do
make a fool of myself.
And then you can bring out all of your guitars and everybody can go.
Of course,
can you do this?
Yeah.
And you can.
Oh, I'll totally serenade the crowd, whether you like it or not. Huh. Awesome.
It's like, turn the guitar off now. You are not Eric Clapton.
That's right. Yeah. No matter what you think. But I think I am. No, you're not. So wonderful. That was episode 4 of Chat with the Yes Men. Jason Wiles and
Simon Crouch.
It's been a pleasure. And until next episode, be good to each other.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.